Yeah. Now we go back to the expressions and see whether or not the expressions match with greater precision the mother than yourself. Is that what she does? She really, go ahead, read it.
Yes. Yeah. She never had all the facts.
And yet, what is she doing?
But she would reach that conclusion and decide and act as if that was the case.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
And created all the drama.
And created all the drama
along with that, as if it really were true.
Then, well, you were surprised to discover, therefore, that what were you doing?
I was caught up in her.
I was caught up in her.
And I went along with it, and of course I never questioned it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. See, there's an absolutely great principle that every child has. They're going to convince themselves again and again and again about just one truth, and that will be they'll never be like them. I'll never do it. They did it. I'm not going to do it. And therefore, it inevitably comes as a great shock to discover that you're it, and you're doing it. And you're trapped. Okay, I want to make a principle here, a strange principle. Here it comes, right? What we tolerate or tolerated from those we loved go ahead. We cannot help doing ourselves until we challenge it. Ideally, to be able to go back to them and talk to them about it. Ideally. Hey Mom, I'd like to talk to you about what happened to me from 5 to 8. What would it be like talking to her about this?
She goes into...
She'll do it right in front of you.
She'll blame herself, and
See, all of that time from 5 to 8, you tolerated her saying all of these things about your father. You already indicated that there was a lot of information that she lacked. She was only working on few pieces of evidence.
But I didn't know that then.
Well, you knew that you were being put into a certain role.
Yes.
And you certainly knew what that meant. That's very uncomfortable because she's driving a wedge between you and your father.
Yes.
Right? You know that. So what we tolerate, we live. Until we can challenge it, find a way to challenge it. Either with them, or if not, from someone most close to them, similar most closely to them. Now, there is no problem that anyone has ever had that you can say that you understand unless you know the last piece. All right? Why did it occur when it did? In the present. See? This pulled you back. See, this pulled you back. Oh my God, I realize I'll never escape. This is whom you are. This is humbling. This is my legacy. See, that's the bond. That's the bond. That's the bond she created. So there must have been something interesting going on. Where were you going?
I was coming here.
Oh, here. Oh, here. What else? See, you're saying for the past week,
Yeah. No,
there were signs of tension. What did you notice?
Over the weekend, I've been thinking about my mother, some stuff that had come up in conversation from last week when I was here, and talking about mothers and replaying scenarios of different things that had occurred, and it came as dealing with the reality of some real, if not mental illness, real emotional illness on that side of the family, and remembering that my grandmother had been taken away by guys in white coats and given electric shock treatment, and remembering all the things that were said about that side of the family and how all the women were insane, and I started thinking about my perception of myself and who I am and how I define myself and how I feel I'm perceived as by others, and you know, how people do perceive me, and how I talk and how I think, and everything I feel like has gone through a filter of that insanity. That's so that's what has been going on.
That's good. That's good.
And it was very upsetting. I spent a couple of days very upset over some of the stuff that came to mind. And angry.
Our culture locks up what we can't understand. That's our culture. Right? We want to lock up what we don't understand, whether it's criminal behavior or mental or emotional problems. We want to lock them up. We want to get rid of them. We want to confine them. We want to put them in jail. We want to put them in confinement.
Right.
So therefore, the image that you have of someone who may be called emotionally unstable, crazy, insane, all of these things have terrible images that go back to the 18th, 17th centuries and a terrible period. But the real question is, all it takes is a couple of talks. Doesn't it? That takes a talks. Or maybe 50. It doesn't matter, because once you get into this, you recover, don't you? You recover parts of a higher self.